Hello. I thought I would talk about like a random topic again because I feel like I haven't done that in a while. Um, that being fast fashion in thrift stores, um, which is like an increasingly bigger topic now. Um, and I thought I would give my 2 cents, which I obviously believe to be the best opinion. Um, Look at my outfit. This is actually thrifted out of my mom's closet. Does that count as thrifting? I guess maybe. It is like secondhand. It's kind of tight here. You can see that. It's a T-Mobile merchandise, but it looks banger as fuck. I don't like damn. Um, there's another thing on the side here. I don't know what that means though. Probably another brand. Then these shorts, which actually did not get thrifted, I bought these. And then these socks, which are blue like my hair, and this is orange, but a similar color to the t-shirt, and then the color of my pants. Isn't that so cool? Anyway, I had a YouTube video recommended to me by, I think it was Drama Queen. If you know her, you know who I'm talking about, and if you don't, that's totally fine. I don't really know her either. I've watched videos of hers before. She just talks about current topics, gives her 2 cents, and shows like TikTok videos, for example. Um, Talks about whichever like topic is popular at the moment. Kind of what I do, but more scripted and edited and stuff like that, and made for an audience. So I did not watch the video. I just saw that it was recommended to me, and that's how that's how I thought about this. Also, look, I did my nails. Woohoo! So it's kind of some people are really against the idea of having any type of fast fashion in thrift stores, which I understand the opinion. And then there's the other group of people, which I'm a part of, who thinks that it's quite all right for them to be there. But I have my criticisms too, so that's not my only opinion. I understand, obviously, as someone who really loves to go thrifting, I just like looking through old clothes, especially. I think it's just always fascinating to find like clothes that you know were worn by someone like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, maybe even more if you're lucky. I just think that the concept of it is very, very interesting. It's kind of like time travel in the world of like fashion. If you find a thrift store that isn't like that is actually kind of more vintage, there is one in Hamburg that I've been to, which is called, I think, Pick and Wait, where you like there's different clothes with different little colors. Made you look, with different price markers, and then if it's like purple, it means like per kilogram you would pay $100 or something, and then there's, I don't know, yellow, and per kilogram you would be paying $20. So I've been there. I've got a really cool jacket for $15 from Staff, which originally would have been 500. Nice. So you can find good, cool deals like that. And then there's other thrift stores which don't have a lot of like cooler aesthetic vintage. And by that I mean vintage in the sense of like grandma clothes, but like bought in the 90s and not like in the 70s. So it's a lot of like fishing vests, and a lot of beige. I don't know how that is in other countries, but in Germany, old people wear beige. I think it's like their favorite color for some reason. Um, but that's one. It's like more. It's much more modern. It's not the current time, but it's like, okay, I can see my grandmother wearing this. I can see my grandfather wearing this, but not like in a cool way, just in like a normal way, you know? And that's like Humana, which is also a very popular like secondhand store chain, which are like everywhere in Germany. I don't know if they're international. I don't know. But oh my god, I want to go to Humana in Berlin because they have multiple stories and it's huge, and apparently it's so cool, and I would spend like days there. Um anyway, fun little tangent. So in I think it's just for this video I might like differentiate between secondhand and vintage stores, because I feel like vintage stores are more the ones where it's like they're aesthetically decorated and they have old leather jackets and like, I don't know, button ups with cool funky patterns and stuff. Like that's shit you see on like Instagram and Pinterest and stuff. When someone posts a video that's like thrift haul, like imagine whatever they have in there is in those stores. And then there's like the second hand, which is really just like my grandpa just died. I'm gonna give all his clothes to Humana, and here you go. And they're not as aesthetic, but like it's still clothes, and so I still really like going there because you can get some really sick stuff there too. I've got one of my favorite ties from there. Super awesome, very very cool. I love going. I love going to secondhand places for ties. Anyway, back to the original topic. This was my intro. Um, I love thrifting, and I love sustainability. Because I think it's cool when there's not landfills full of clothes that were made to go there. Okay? Fast fashion. Horrible. You can't go into a store anymore and not get fast fashion. Um, it's impossible. Like, sorry. It is and has been fast fashion, like H&M, I don't know, like Zara, Arket. I'm just trying to think of brands. New Yorker, also fast fashion. Like every single clothes store you see outside is fast fashion, most likely. It's very unlikely that you're finding a store where it's like handmade by people that are getting paid fairly, um, and that aren't like sitting overseas in a sweatshop while their like IDs and visas have been stolen so they can't leave. Real thing that happens, by the way. Um, so yeah. And I think there is something ethically wrong with buying fast fashion. So thrift when you can. However, sometimes I recognize that there's not a way like around it. I know that like, oh my god, people are poor. Like, yes. That's a fact of capitalism. People are poor, and sometimes they obviously also want to have cute clothes. But oftentimes those cute clothes are expensive, which is so sad. No, actually, it's not sad that they're expensive. It's sad that you don't get paid enough to afford them. Okay. And so that's why people oftentimes go to places like New Yorker, me included. Sometimes I will be real, I have gone there and bought things. Or like Shein, or Temu, which I think are a bit crazier. I don't know. I don't know how different like a New Yorker's production process is to like a Shein. Because I don't know. Because like we know Shein, Temu, sweatshop workers make everything that's on that website. So sorry if you didn't know that. But yeah. That's a fact. So I believe that when people buy from these places, it's not good, period. So keep it to a minimum. Try to make your own clothes as much as possible. Try to make your clothes last as much as possible. Learn how to repair things, learn how to sew, learn how to crochet, which obviously also is expensive hobbies, but then in the end, if you make your own sweater, it'll A, be cooler, and B, probably stay in your closet for longer. And C, dude, you made it yourself, and you didn't have to exploit someone else to do it, you know? So my take is that when those people buy these fast fashion clothes, and they inevitably aren't interested in them anymore, or they're kind of broken, and they feel like, I am not interested in this style anymore, I'm going to bring it to a thrift shop so someone else can like enjoy it. I think that's totally fine. Because the other option is, I'm going to throw it away and it's going to land like in the ocean or on a landfill. Not cool, dude. Like, I think there is definitely some regulations that need to be there, like not legally specifically, but I think it would be cool if there could be a consensus in between the buyers and the owners of the thrift shops or secondhand shops that, I don't know, you kind of assess the garment, because oftentimes you can tell when something is cheaply made. And I know that's like some people don't have an eye for it, but if you just like research into the topic a little bit, like for example, something I learned recently from a really interesting video by a woman whose name I forgot, but she like is a seamstress, I believe, and she sews a lot of her own clothes, and she's very interested in like older fashion as well. And a tip that she gave to recognize low quality garments was the length of each individual stitch. So if I'm trying to find some stitch leg in here, okay, that's not like these pants. If you look at the stitching, how long each individual stitch is, apparently high quality clothes will have stitches that are 0.5 millimeter long, and then they already go into the next stitch, which usually in low quality garments, like the longer the stitch, the faster you get done with it, hence the fast fashion thing. So the longer the stitch, the quicker it's made, but also that really makes it a lot less sturdy. So also this is centimeters, by the way, not inches. I don't know how much that would be in inches. Google it. Half a millimeter, like the small. You literally can't see it, but not a centimeter, but a millimeter. Okay, that's very small. I don't think I've ever seen a garment with that stitch count that is so tiny. And I don't think any of my clothes have it. And I don't think whenever I've sewn something, I don't think I paid attention to it either. But yeah, that's like a fairly easy way to see it. The other thing was like obviously having a look at the texture of it and fraying and if the threads are sticking out everywhere. Maybe if I'll find the video, I can like link it. And if not, then I'm sorry. So back to the original topic. I think that thrift and secondhand stores should be able to sell fast fashion or in, secondhand form, but then label it as such. Because it has happened to me once before that I have gone thrifting and I picked out a really cute pair of A-line shorts. Let me go get them, actually. I have them. They were a bit banged up, which is why they were like a little bit cheaper. They wanted to sell it for $6. It's crazy. Zipper was broken. One of the belt loops was also broken off. But here's the kicker. It was labeled as vintage. Literally labeled as vintage. And I have love in my heart, and I trust Humana, and I trust their staff. And so I was like, okay, I believe you. But then, in the store, you're kind of just like having fun with your friends, and you don't really think about the whole thing. And I should have just looked at it closer, because literally now I'm like, how did I not see it? Like, for example, the fact that there is no brand anywhere. There's this weird little thing, which is probably, it was a size marker, I think. But nothing else is sewn in anywhere. There is not a, single... there is nothing that says where this thing came from. So it's, like, a weird, strange, no-name brand, probably bought for, like, €1.50 off the internet. And I only realized when I got home and I inspected it a little bit closer. Because at the store, I just went into the changing rooms and were like, okay, this fits me, and I think these are cute. And it says they're vintage, so let me go buy them for €4. And then I got home and then I look at them a little bit closer and I'm like, First of all, this button, it spins. It's like, I don't know what this type of button is, but like it moves, right? And I'm like, that's strange. Because I have one other pair of pants that have this type of button. And I got them as a gift by my grandmother. And I don't know where she bought them from. But I suspected it was also, like, somewhere for very, very cheap online. She's old. I forgive her. And then the other thing, the inside of the pockets. What is this? This see-through plastic fabric. This is not vintage. They didn't do this for, like, this is a new thing, bro. They haven't been... What is this? It's fraying. It's literally see-through. It's like fully plastic. And it's in both of the pockets, which is also what that other pair of pants with the weird button I mentioned before also has, which made me suspect, okay, this is very cheaply made. This is a very cheap fabric. I assume it is fast fashion. And then I started putting all the pieces together and like the fact like, oh my god, there's so much like fabric that sticks over here. The seams are like falling apart. There is a seam. And like, here's a seam. And it's one of those super thin, that's another thing. One of these very, very thin like zippers, which is why it broke, because it's so thin and flimsy. So when I came home, I felt really like deceived. And I wouldn't have felt that way, and I would have probably still bought them if it just had a label on it that said, originally this came from like Temu or Shein or whatever, because I'm buying it secondhand now, which means it's already in the world, like just by way of me and no one else buying it. The pain that this garment has caused isn't gonna evaporate. Some like totally underpaid person at a sewing machine on the floor somewhere in like fucking the other side of the world from here still made it, and it's here now. So we're gonna have to deal with it, and I would have still bought it and still put it on my plans to fix it up to be able to wear it, okay? And I think that that's just a thing you can do with fast fashion. It's always going to be low quality, so why don't you go out and find those low quality garments that are still all right, that aren't like slashed or whatever, and you fix them up a little bit. You go over the seams again, take out the things you don't like I'm going to replace the button, I'm going to replace the zipper. I'm thinking of maybe replacing the pockets because I don't like that fabric, but since you can't see it, I'm like, I'm going to redo the belt loops, and then it'll be a good wearable garment, and I'm going to turn a shit thing into something good, and I'm going to do it for €4. And I think that I'm not the only person who goes into thrift stores expecting to find things that are a little bit broken and in need of fixing. And even if you are, if you're a person who goes into a thrift store and only wants the garments that need no fixing, that are still in good condition, that's totally fine too. But I think a large part of like going thrifting, going secondhand shopping is the fun part where you can then take the garments and then fix them up and then wear them and then be like, hey, I kind of made this a little bit. I turned this around, you know? That alone is just very, very cool, and it also impresses people, which is sad because fixing up clothes shouldn't be that crazy of a skill. I think it's something that everybody should be able to do. Like hand sewing, but also machine sewing. I can't machine sew. That's why I've been putting this thing off, because I'm gonna have to machine sew a lot unless I want it to take 100 years by way of hand sewing, but I'm scared of the sewing machine. But yeah, I got a little bit loud during that, but that's because it's a rant to me. I think it's absolutely stupid to call yourself someone who enjoys thrifting, who wants to like save the planet or whatever by going thrifting and not buying from fast fashion, and then say, no, you who bought fast fashion, don't come into my awesome thrift store and put the clothes into my thrift store that you bought off of the internet for very cheap. I want you to put them into the landfill so I don't see them anymore. Like, excuse me, but that's not even, like, the point of thrifting isn't to find cool ancient clothes only. It's also to, like, be a little bit more sustainable, be a little bit nice to the planet, have less garments end up on landfills and inside of the ocean. Like, sorry if you don't like finding, like, a shirt with, like, a dated reference on it or something, but look at the shirt. Examine the sweater or whatever you found. Can you stitch something over the dated reference? Ironically, wear the shirt. I don't know. There's so many things. Go into a thrift store and see the garments beyond what you're holding at this moment, you know? Because you're not just holding, like, a shirt with, I don't know, a character that's, like, dabbing on it, and you're like, oh, someone found this in the back of their closet from, like, 2017 and gave it to the thrift store, but I'm not going to buy it, and no one ever will. Go, like, oh my god, interesting. I have a shirt now. I have a frame. I have a base for something. I'm going to, like, get the previous design off it or something, or just like I have this other shirt which is like broken or something, and then you can like cut off whatever part of the other shirt you like, and like put it on the other shirt, and then, you know, or just use it for fabrics to sew something else. It's literally that easy, you know? I'm thinking about it all the time. All the sweaters that I have in there, I'm thinking of like an idea I have. I have this white sweater with sleeves that have like embroidered roses on them, which I always really liked. But I'm getting sort of bored of it. And I have another sweater which is black with like like the front and the back. It's a sweater that I got at a promotional event at my mom's work, so it's got their like logo on it. And I've been thinking of like combining the fabrics, so I would be using like the white base and then separating the sleeves on both sweaters and then switching the sleeves basically. So then I would have like a white base with like black sleeves. Um, and then I could like do something else with the other sweater sleeves. Or another sweater I have which is blue if I'm wanting to like, because I don't wear it anymore, it's kind of too small, and I want to use the blue fabric and like cut stars out of it and like get one of my other sweaters and like put the stars on the sleeves, which I think would be really cool. So yeah. And that's all very possible by hand sewing, which is also cheap. Need scissors, one needle, and hands. And actually thread also. Anyway, it kind of turned into a bit of a rant, but this is just my opinion on it, which I honestly think is the most ethical way to go about it, you know? Like, you don't have to buy like fast fashion in your thrift store. You can still go look for older things from decades ago. Like, no one's forcing you. And clearly, people can, like, recognize when something is fast fashion if you're mad about it being in your thrift store. So just avoid them. Duh. If your thrift store is too full, find a different one. Travel around a little. Go by train. That's my opinion on that. That's what I do anyway. But yeah. That was 20 minutes of me just talking about that. I'm gonna go play on my computer.